Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about the narcissist and fuel energy and the mask a little bit more in depth. Let's jump in. When you meet the narcissist, they find out you're an empathic person just because they're on the hunt, they're on the prowl, and they already know what you look like with just a few conversations with you, through a few paragraphs, the way your mannerisms are. You're probably a little bit more gentle than some. You have more politeness, and just by the conversation, you might have been a people pleaser because I'm talking about somebody unawoke as an empath. You may have helped them do things. And when you start talking like that, they know they're not with a narcissist. You have empathy, highly empathetic. Generally speaking, you're vulnerable. I'm not saying that that's a good idea, but this is the unawoke empath, because you don't want to be vulnerable with people you haven't vetted as being comfortable and safe around to be vulnerable, because there's hunters out there. So the narcissist meets you like that. You go out on your first date, end up dating them. Once they get you nailed down as the primary source of supply, they want to marry you within just a couple of months. They're willing to do anything. And they always marry you within 3 to 4 months, typically, or less. They're very quick about doing everything. A lot of times, though, the empath will start to see within that period of time the narcissist is toxic, and they may start to back away, not from the relationship, but from the marriage side of it. Or the narcissist may start to get bored over that period of time and start to renegotiate what they talked about with the marriage situation, because you're not perfect anymore, and they start to realize that if it's too long. Those are things that may stop the marriage, but if they do find you, they like to get married to you very quickly. And then they want to lock you down so that you can be their main source supply. Well, why do they do that? Do they do that with everybody they see? No. They probably had dated 200 people or 100 people before they met you, but they didn't want to marry them. Why? What makes you any different? The difference is because when they met you, you were different, because you were at a higher vibration than what they're used to getting. So when you ride on a vibration, say up here, let's say at a 500 level, which is at love is at a 500 level on a vibration chart, then you're going to deal typically with people on this level. Now, the narcissist can't get above a 199 because they only can get to pride. And that's why it says in the word, pride comes before the fall, because they can only get to pride. They can never get to courage, which is a 200. So before they can get to courage and admit that they're not perfect, they fall back down to shame. So their cycle is shame to pride, shame to pride. And that's as far as they can go. They're fixed in a shame to pride cycle. Now that cycle, a 199 or less, is always an abusive vibration. And typically, if you are a high value empath, you are above 500, it goes to 1,000, the vibrational chart. But if 500 is love, you're 500 or above probably. That talks about your spirit, man. How bright was your light? How much can you generate? When the narcissist met you, if they always say they meet you when you're going through things a lot of times, if you're that empath, if you're the primary source. And that's because you're going through some trials and tribulations and your vibration was brought down to the vibration at the narc level. So then they came through. Instead of you guys repelling each other and not even ever talking, you guys actually had a conversation and sparked a relationship. But that would have never happened if you were to stay above that vibration level. But now that they met you, they keep you down to that level, or they push you down further, because they're going to be drawing off of you. And then when they get you down low enough, they can control you. They can get you to believe all the things that they are as they project them onto you and then siphon your fuel for themselves. Projection's an evil thing. And sometimes you can project yourself onto them in a good way. Like you think like they're at your level. So you think you can believe them. And that's what you're projecting out, kind of what you are onto them. So you're probably pouring energy out to them when you do that as well. Because anytime you're giving the wrong reciprocity, negative reciprocity, for instance, or if it's not just. So for you to project out to somebody who doesn't deserve it, because they're really not that, you do lose fuel. But when they get you, you're a higher level individual that can generate a lot of fuel, and you're a good person. So you're planting seeds of goodness. So you're going to bring them what they would call karma, but what we call reaping what you sow in the word. So you because you have good reaping, because they're connected to you in a covenant or in a contract or in a consented relationship, and you're having intercourse with them. You're spending all your time with them. You're backing them up, and you're absorbing all their negative energy and giving them your good fuel. You're making this mass look more pristine and giving them more energy and joy in their evils than they ever have. They're more enthusiastic. They are toxic, and you're still lifting them up, which you can't prop them up forever, but you can for a time. They actually get somewhat successful, and people around them start to see this. And it's because you're in the background, and you're actually going from a plum to a prune. They're sucking everything they can out of you. So you're going backwards. That's why you can get autoimmunes and stuff, because they're siphoning so much fuel off you, and they're attacking you on a daily basis with negative energy. And negative energy, behind words are always energy. Negative energy, curses. And when you get to a low level, you start to believe those projections because you're on a low vibration. You can't help yourself because you're getting on a level just like they are. And the narcissist will keep you on that level if you continue to stay with them, because there's no other way for you to vibe high or to heal or to do better for yourself, because every day you're dealing with this fool. So you kind of give up. They may have never met a true primary source of supply because there's not many of them out there like that. It could be something they thought was mythology until they met you. A lot of narcissists, they don't believe it. They want to pinch themselves because they don't get this. They don't get somebody that has what you have and the traits that you have and the passion that you have. That's what they steal from you. And they give you all of that negative energy of doubt and pain and regret and unforgiveness. They throw it all on you. And then they isolate you. But before they met you, their primary source supply was probably a narcissistic, highly narcissistic individual. They were probably only drawing a little bit of fuel off of them, and just a little bit higher than what they were. Their mass still was looking cracked up. What made them make it look better is they probably had more sources of supply they were getting little bits of energy from, to where you supply enough energy for probably 10 of those sources all in one. You're a one-stop shop. That's why they always say you're like beautiful or something. They're talking about your energy, your passion, the way that you can work a room, the way that you feel and love and pour your heart out. But you can't pour into them because you think you can love them to death and it's going to fix them, because whatever they didn't receive love-wise in childhood, you're going to be able to fix it. It's almost like the more you treat them, the more love that you push on them, the more hate they give you, because they're the opposite of humanity. So everything you do to them is going to be the opposite return than what you expected. That's why it's called unequally yoked, and you can't be with them. When you love them, they hate you. When you hate them, they want you. It's always like that. And it's like that with everything. They always give you bad advice on purpose. And that's because when you can't feel something, when you can't enjoy certain things that you're supposed to, in your genetic code, you're yearning for the things that somebody else has on a daily basis, and you're stealing it from them because that's the only way you can get it and use it. You wish you had it. You wish you didn't make that contract and covenant like you did. And they gave up on all that love and happiness and joy, so they got to pull it from you. And they get jealous and annoyed and pissed off with you. They can't believe that you keep pouring your heart out when they don't deserve it. And they hate you for it. And they can't generate it for themselves. Now, this is the thing, though. They will never want to change who they are. But they do want that. But, the narcissist is always somebody who wants their cake and wants to eat it, too. They want to have you and have 3 other open relationships that you don't ask questions and you just do as you're told. They want you to always be perfect, to always be loyal to them, and to never ask questions, and to do as you're told, and to stay forever. Those are the 3 major things they want from you. They want you to be perfect, they want you to be loyal to them for the rest of your life, and they want you to never leave them. Unconditional love. So when they're out there, they have to get this crappy fuel. It's like garbage fuel from other people, because the other people are living like garbage too. They're all doing bad things. That's why they love to cheat on you and dupe you. But they don't want to dupe somebody who's cheating on them too. It doesn't do anything for them. And that's why when they break up with you, they get all these factors and these oohs and ahs, and they can't believe that they duped you that good, and that you're in sorrow, and that they did that to you. They can't do that to another narcissist or a heavily narcissistic individual. They don't care too much because they don't love either. They've been cheating on each other the whole time. They're in transactional covenants and contracts with each other. They're all doing the same crap. So they're all at the same level. So this source supply is throwing their garbage on them. They're throwing the same garbage back on this person. It's all the same level of vibration. But when you come into the picture, you change it for them. You give them outs. You give them ways to shine. You give them authority and ability to raise up for the first time in their life on a new level. But just for a time, because you can't prop up evil forever. If evil doesn't want to change its ways and stand up on its own and repent, you can't prop it up forever. That's kind of how this energy thing works. And at the end of the day, if you don't love and you don't have the fruits of the spirit, you just care about the energy, the fuel. Now, they could prefer certain types of fuel, but if they can't get your fuel, then they'll take any fuel. That's why they'll get people off the streets if they have to get fuel. And they'll siphon what they can from them. Sex is where they really get a lot of fuel. It opens you wide open. They can learn everything about you. They get a lot out of having sex with you because all your fields are open, wide open. And they're emptying your fuel out. That's why when they leave you, after having sex with you, you feel bad. You feel like you just had sex with a robot or a statue or something, and you feel terrible inside. It's because they took all your fuel, and usually you end up starting to reap a negative reward as soon, like the next day, because they sucked all your fuel, and here comes the negative harvest already, because now you're connected to them again. That's why they always want to come in and have sex with you first thing. That's kind of how some of that fuel energy works. But if you can give me a like, subscription, and a thumbs up, love y'all. Till next time, sold you out. Peace, we out.